Hey guys, and welcome to another show. Today I'm sitting down with Dan, who is the founder of Carmel. And for anybody who doesn't know what Carmel is all about, it was one of the first airdrops that came to EOS that I was actually really excited about. And it's essentially like a learning platform where you can go and learn like technical skills, where your average Joe who might have, maybe he works at 7-Eleven, maybe he's working his way through school, can learn coding and programming skills and all that kind of stuff. But before I give too much away, I want to welcome you, Dan. Do you want to kind of just give a quick introduction of who you are, how you came into blockchain, and just kind of where you yourself today?
It's good to be here, man. Like we talked before, we interacted a bit before, but I'm glad that we can actually do this kind of virtual face to virtual face. So I'm Dan. I created Carmel. I guess we've been working on it for about 1.5 years full time, but it's a side project I started about 4 years ago when I started trying to figure out a way to help a friend of mine get into coding. I realized that to me, tech education, education as a whole, but tech education is something that can actually change lives in the sense that in a world that's increasingly technical, if you're just a consumer and you just use technology, but you cannot kind of get a handle on like not being like a superstar developer, but doing some stuff with like leverage it in some way, then you kind of get left out. So I realized that if I can figure out a way to help my friend get a bit technical, maybe he can change his life, So I did that, I spent some time with him, and then he got a developer job, and that was great. But then I realized that, man, maybe we could do this a bit, more sort of scalably. So I started working on some code, because I realized there's a lot of garbage out there in the development world that makes it hard for, like you said, average Joes to get into it. When you look at development, I can't really put a number to it, but I would say at least 50% of the work you have to do as a developer is, let's call it monkey work, right? So it's like a code monkey can do it. And as a matter of fact, I started the framework that I created is called Chunky, the code monkey, right? So in the sense that I wanted to create something that does the monkey work for you. So you as a developer just focus on the creative side. And at least if I take away this half of the pain away, then a lot of people will be like less stressed about the garbage they have to go through just to get a web page up and running type of thing. So that just started a journey. And then about 1.5 years ago, I got into blockchain like really big time. And I realized that what I want to build is not so much a company. I don't look at a Carmel as a company. I don't even look at it as a product, actually. I say this all the time. I look at it as a movement. And the best way to look at Carmel, to me, which is insane to say it, but I really don't care. I look at it as a country, to be honest. I look at it as kind of like a digital village with its own sort of, EOS is like that. If you look at EOS like a continent, then maybe Carmel is like a little village inside that continent. That's kind of the way I look at it, because it's really a movement. It's something that I think people can use to create businesses and create products on top of it. That's the way I look at Carmel. So because of that, I needed a way to make it that way. And the first thing we decided a while ago is like, we're going to open source every single thing we do. But then when I got into blockchain, I realized, dude, you know what? Maybe we can actually create this in a sustainable way. Maybe actually have its own financial system that helps it kind of keep the value in. So you create a self-sustainable value market where you have producers and you have suppliers and you have like demand like just in there. And then when I discovered EOS, I came from Steemit. I researched Steem a lot. I researched graphene. I researched Ethereum. And when I saw EOS, I looked at the code and I just got a gut feel. And the gut feel I got about EOS is this is my third big gut feel in my last 20 years. The first gut feel was in the 90s about the internet, and that was pretty good. The second gut feel I got in the 2000s was about mobile, and that turned out pretty well. So this, to me, it's really the third wave: internet, mobile, blockchain, and the technology to me that I think could get us there is EOS. So that's kind of how we got here, and we spent quite a bit of time to get where we are today, and you're gonna hear more about us today. As of today. We actually have a working product finally, and a token on the mainnet that's going to be listed soon. So that's kind of where we were, what we want to do, and where we are. And I guess if we were to put it in one sentence, what Carmel is all about, it's really taking your average Joes. We actually came up with a name for the average Joe. We call him Chris, based on a real person in my life, a friend. And we want to help people like Chris who are non-technical workers, whatever that means, just make a living for themselves and their family in the new digital era. That's pretty much what Carmel is all about. It's more like a family project.
I love it. Like, I've been following you guys since the start. It was something that I was really excited about, and it kind of did fall off my radar, and we talked a little bit, and that's just because you wanted to make sure you were building something that's really special. And I know now you're amped up about it. I'm amped up about it too, because I speak to a lot of highly technical people, and maybe I don't want to perhaps be super programmer 10,000, but for me personally, it would help my relationships and being kind of the conduit from a lot of these highly technical people to perhaps kind of more generalized audience if I had a really good, or at least a small understanding of programming. If you were to sum up in like a couple of sentences the problem that you might be solving, Dan, how would you sum that up?
So the high-level human problem that we're solving, so I want to start with that first. We're solving the problem that I call it keeps Chris up at night. So Chris stays up at night. I think there's a billion people out there that can't sleep at night because they can't really wrap their hands around what's coming. They see that machines are coming. They see that machines are winning chess games and stuff, and they're afraid that they can make a living in this new world. So that's really the problem. People not be able to actually hold down a real job when they're not technical. So that's really the human problem. There's people who actually go to work with anxiety, and I know people like that who say, man, I think they're going to replace me. And I don't know, it's coming tomorrow, it's coming in a year. And that's crazy stressful. You know, when you have young kids, you got to feed those kids and you're like the machine. So that's a huge problem, bro. It's a human problem. And I'm a father, I have 4 children. And to me, this like issue of like feeding your family, it's so fundamental that it's hardly just sort of not a mousetrap. It's like a really tough problem. It's a deeply emotional problem. So to me, before anything else, this is what Carmel solved, is this family issue problem where I'm trying to help people provide a better future for their family. Now, the technical side of things, what we're doing, we're taking education to a new level. The way I look at education is really 3 eras. The first era, face-to-face, where like someone just preaches at you and you try to take down notes and like the guy talks too fast and your head goes somewhere else because like your girlfriend left you or something and you've like forgot a note and then you missed the exam. So they try to sort of innovate with that and put that guy's lecture on a video so you can pause it, right? But at the end of the day, it's just really like someone talking, telling you some information that now you can get out on Wikipedia or like whatever, or Everpedia or whatever. What we're trying to do is take education to a level when it comes to technology that is more natural when it comes to learning how to code. And I had a bit of a revelation at some point. I've been in the tech industry for over 20 years, and what really surprises me is the fact that the way people teach other people to code before they become developers and the way we train new developers on the job is completely different, dude. It's so different. So what Carmel does, we created a new way of teaching people how to code in the developer way, right? The natural way of learning. And what I mean by that is that it's, first of all, it's peer-to-peer. So when you are a developer, you have no idea what to do. You go on the job and like, hey, Dan, hey, Bogdan, hey, Matt, hey, how do you do this? And then you go on like sites like Stack Overflow or Google or whatever, like, how do I do this? In a online video or whatever, there's no such thing. You just like, you get a template, you get complete this, is standardized testing and type of thing. So it's very, very different. So we just put a spin on it. We call it tweak and learn, in the sense that we think we're the only solution ever to invent a way to bridge the gap between learning and development, right? Because you have learning, videos, whatever, and you have development, which is really cranking out code. And the way we created it, as you tweak little things to learn, you also develop. So that's what's crazy special about Carmel. And the only way to really get a feel for it is to try it. And I hope in the next few weeks, we're going to have a lot of info out there. So that was a bit more work. So basically the human problem, it's helping people provide a better future for themselves in the digital economy by acquiring technical skills. And the way we help them acquire those technical skills is a very new, I would say, revolutionary way, a big departure from just personal videos and in face-to-face. We call it a third era, which is micro-learning, peer-to-peer. and decentralized. There's really no teachers, nothing, just a community of people teaching themselves.
I love it. And the way that you kind of described it to me, it's like it's integrated videos that you work as you're getting instruction, kind of like we chatted beforehand, which just facilitates a way faster and easier method to be able to take information in. But I want to ask you, Dan, and I'm going to just be real with me. Can somebody like me, now in terms of technicality, I know lots about blockchain and EOS, and I get to talk to some really intelligent people, but I am not a programmer. Can I learn to program using Carmel? Is that a reasonable expectation?
So I wrote a blog post about this. Is development for me, And I think that's the wrong question. So I would say we're going to solve half of this problem by asking the right question. Do you want to learn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because can I learn? Honestly, it depends on you. Because if you really want to learn, man, then there's people like me who can make your life easier, and we can make it easier with Carmel. Yes. But if you really want to learn, you're into fitness and stuff, right? Right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So can I lose 10 kilos?
Yeah.
But I got to put in the work. I got to eat clean. I got to wake up, right? So you can code, bro, and we figure out a way that can help you. And I promise you, I'm so sure of this, and I'm going to go out there and make a lot of noise and prove that this is the best way on the planet today to learn how to code. I'm going to stand by this 100%. So yes, but even with this, we have people that are like, what's a terminal? And I'm like, okay, I'll teach you what a terminal is, but you have to put in the work to click the start button on Windows, open the terminal, and freaking type the thing, right? And if you want me to come up with a way so you don't type the thing, that's not Carmel, and that's not for you. Just like someone would come to you and say, hey, Matt, can you come up with this crazy pill that I could swallow in the morning and like get 23-inch biceps? They're like, no, dude, you got to put in the work. I can teach you to lift well. I can teach. So that's how Carmel is. So my answer to you is,
love it. Do
you want to learn? Yes, if you want 100%, and there's nothing better and more to the point than Carmel right now. Nothing. I'm 100% sure with that. If there's anything better than this, I would love to see it, and I would love to do side by side what Carmel does and what that thing does.
I believe you. I'm sold already, man. I love the passion. So what you're saying is I can't just sit there and kind of like suck it into my brain through like osmosis. You got to go out. You got to put the work in. The courses are there. Utility is there. It's an easy way to learn. So I'm actually really stoked about giving this whole thing a shot. Now I'm going to ask you the next question that's on my mind and is probably on a few other people's minds as well. Mm-hmm. Is it affordable?
Good question, man. Right now, it's free, because we want to start getting some traction. And we went and we trialed different things, and we asked different opinions on the best business model. And I'll tell you what we came up with, and you tell me what you think. Yeah. We came up with a model that's even that, I think it's pretty different than what we've seen so far. It's a SaaS blockchain model. What that means is that you're going to be able to use your credit card on Carmel.io and buy a membership just like you buy it on Netflix. You pay a fee every month. That you just pay that recurring fee, right? So you can buy a plan just like a regular SaaS, and I'll tell you about the pricing in a second. But you just pay some dollars. You don't have to buy tokens, nothing. In the background, what happens? We actually take your money and we transform it into what we call learning minutes. Okay, so think of your phone plan with T-Mobile, or in Europe, Vodafone or Orange. You pay like $50 a month or whatever. It's pretty expensive in Toronto now, so but it's not even compared to Europe. But you pay like $50 is actually pretty cheap in Toronto. But let's make it real, $75 a month, and you get 500 minutes, and you get whatever megabytes for data and stuff. So the way it works with Carmel, you pay a certain amount of you pick a plan, you get a certain amount of learning minutes. And then every single time during that month that you actually take a challenge, you consume those minutes. So if you're a fast learner, you can do more challenges. If you're a slow learner, sorry, bro, you got to pay a bit more, right? And then what happens, every month, you don't use those minutes, it's like a phone bill. Then they just reset again, and that's that. And then what you can also do, you can actually, if you're a hardcore blockchain person, but we don't demand that you be one to use Carmel, because otherwise that would just cut a lot of people out. You can go on an exchange after we will list, and I think we're going to list them between 5 and 7 weeks or so around March. we're going to list, so you're going to be able to go on an exchange, buy some tokens, and you can also use tokens to buy minutes, right?
Yeah.
So you'll be able, so that's the way it works. And the way we're thinking pricing wise, we're still playing with the numbers and we want to come up with something that's fair. But if you look at a competitor, like let's say Treehouse, which is a pretty good sort of online education, they have a $25, $50, and like, I don't know, $200 or something a month. So we want to start with a $25 a month plan. Okay. And we think that's pretty cool. Something around there. And you pay something like $25 a month. You get a certain amount of minutes. We'll see what that means. You can start with a free plan. We're thinking something like you get 30 minutes on the free plan every single month. So for 30 minutes, you can always keep on learning. Yeah. But if you really believe in it, pay a bit of money. And here's the beautiful part. You'll be able to exchange your token, your learning minutes back to tokens. So let's say you buy tokens. Let's say you pay $25. You buy your tokens, then you'll be able to exchange them back. And if everything goes well and the tokens goes up, it's funny, but you might actually make money by the end of the month, right? Which is great. Yeah.
I love it.
I think it's affordable. I think it's going to be more affordable than anything out there.
Yeah, I'll definitely be checking it out. And I'm gonna have you on for a live cast, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to kind of like do a demo here in the future. I think like I don't want to keep you too long because I still want to get this circulated. I want to get people watching this, get people excited about the platform. We'll do a follow-up later. But what kind of a demand are there for some of the services? I mean, a lot of people are probably saying like, hey, I need a certificate, or nobody's going to hire me if I don't go to some professional school. Yeah. And I don't think that that's necessarily the reality of the situation.
That's a very good point, man. We had a lot of people who asked us, do you give me a certification? And bro, it's not going to cost me anything to say, here's a stamp, download your certification. But what does that really mean? But let me actually turn that around a little bit. And I want to actually address the certification issue because it's really the key to why Carmel goes on a blockchain. And right, so in our white paper, there's actually a section called Why Blockchain. And I encourage you to read it if you have time. So blockchain and Carmel means that we're using an open, distributed, trustless ledger to keep track of all your learning events. I took this challenge, I learned JSON, I learned React, I learned this, I failed 5 times, but the 6th time I got it. We keep track of every single thing you did, dude. And at the end of the day, we're gonna tell anyone in the world who cares about your learning journey, who wants to hire you and wants to give you work or whatever, and we'll say, look, instead of going to the college, blah, blah, and ask for my transcript, and believe Dean John Smith, who signed this in 20,000 and blah, blah, blah year, just go to carmel.io. It's on the blockchain. You can believe it because it's on the blockchain. So what I'm trying to say is that what blockchain does, and this is a wake-up call for people who think that blockchain is just for finance, but what blockchain does, it removes the third party from every single area of life. And the way we're doing it for education. So what I'm trying to say is that Carmel in itself, because it's on a blockchain, is a trustless certificate, right? So if you go right now and you sign up today and pick your username, you'll get your own today. It works right now. So if you go, you pick a username, let's say you pick Matt, and the world can go to carmel.io/Matt right now and can see everything that you've done. Right now, that's not yet on the blockchain, but it will be. So that's basically going to be 100% your certificate. And honestly, if you go there, I've hired hundreds of people, maybe not hundreds, but at least 100. And every single time, this is what I ask. What can you do? I could care less if you went to MIT or you work at Facebook. What can you do for me? So if you say, look at Carmel, I build a website, I build 3 mobile apps, I can do React, I can do authentication, I do Firebase, I do AWS, sold, come, let's do it, right? So I would say that to people who say, do I get a certificate, do I get anything? I'll say, do you need one? And second of all, if you really need one, carmel.io/username is your certificate. So we're hoping we can bring some disruption to that certificate concept as well by putting it on the blockchain.
Yeah, and the thing that we were kind of talking about in the pre-talk is the fact that it's not just like I did this course. It's like I did this course, this is what I built, here it is. Like you're building a portfolio as you're going through these courses. So it's not just like, Michael, did this, but he slept half the time, but we gave him a passing grade. It's like, here's my web app that I built, here's my mobile app that I built, here's this. creating like this ongoing portfolio of everything that you've done. So it's like, it's right there, man. Don't ask, show.
Yes, exactly. And we don't actually call them courses. So the way I call what Carmel does is truly micro-learning. I know a lot of people talk about micro-learning, but from what I've seen so far, and I think I've seen everything out there, it's like I take my cell phone and I just watch a video on my cell phone. I'm like, that's not really micro-learning. Micro-learning to me is learning, like literally acquiring skills and knowledge in small pieces, right? So if you look at our challenges right now on Carmel.io/challenges, we got 3 challenges right now to get started, and we got 3 more coming up, and we're going to keep on pushing challenges out. And over there, you see little things like JSON 1, Web 1, JavaScript 1, right? So what that means is that you have little pills of knowledge and a weight. In other words, if you complete this challenge, your web skill goes up by 1. If you complete this challenge, your JavaScript goes up by 2, or whatever that challenge does. So then when you go to your Carmel.io/math, you'll be able to see everything you've done, but right at the top, if you take a look at the top, you're going to see JSON 25, JavaScript 88, MySQL, blah, blah. So people will know exactly to the detail, to the minute, what you can do, right? So people can come and say, hey, I need a person, I got to hire a person that I'm already giving like $85K a year. I just need them to be React 25 at least, JavaScript 95. So we're changing the game for recruiting. We're changing the game for training. If you go there and look at guilds, if you do a tour and look at the guilds, we got 6 personas in the industry that we're changing: recruiting, management, entrepreneurship, teachers, developers, and learners, right? And just because we're changing the way we teach people at this really, really small level. And you can't cheat anymore. You can't just copy someone's code. You can't just, like you said, like, hey man, I have pretty eyes. Look at Dan's face. He's a good-looking person. Pass me out. You know, no way, dude. No more. We're changing the way education works, man. At least in a lot of parts of the world. Like, at least where I'm from, East Europe, you can pass courses like nothing. You can get a PhD like this. Not anymore. My dream, bro, is for people to go on their resumes and next to their LinkedIn or GitHub or both, they would say, look, I'm just going to put my Carmel profile and that will tell you everything.
Dan, I love it, man. I really like what you're doing. I'm excited about it. I'm going to make sure that I send everybody over to your Telegram, the website as well. Yeah. I'm going to post all the information below. Go hit up Dan. Go hit up the guys in Telegram because they are phenomenal. Carmel.io. And Dan, I'm going to have you on for a podcast. I want to see this stuff in action. I want to see how it works.
Yep.
So I look forward to talking with you again, man, and go Carmel. It's going to be a really, really cool application.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Thanks for having me and thanks for what you're doing. And I think we're gonna do more stuff together, I'm sure. And I'm actually, every single person that's watching this, I'm actually challenging you to get involved, not just Carmel, but I really want us to come up with a movement, if I could say that, of people who actually don't just invest to make a quick buck, man, because it's going to hurt us all. Invest in whatever you think you can invest. That's obviously, we all want to make a financial gain out of all this, but we're looking for people to share our story. We're looking for people to create challenges. We're looking for people to spread obviously the word, but we're looking for people to use Carmel in their startups. We're looking for people to add value to what we do, not just buy the tokens. Yeah, we have the tokens, you can buy them and all that. But the point is, I think if we can show the world that EOS is a community that actually creates value and the people in EOS are different. They're not like the ICO sort of investor that are just waiting for a quick buck. I'm sure, bro, that every single one of us doing something in EOS is going to create value for the rest of us, right? Because if Carmel goes well, and we bring people to EOS, your EOS tokens will go high. Of course, your tokens, Carmel tokens, if you have tokens. So that's what I'm looking for. And that's kind of like my last action, call to action to your community is guys and girls, let's do something in EOS that's not just about waiting for EOS and Bitcoin to go up and get some gains. Let's add value, because if we do, I promise you, if we add value at this entrepreneurship level, at this sort of building level, at the builders level, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure, maybe not today, let's delay that gratification, maybe another year or two, we're going to kill it in EOS. We're all going to kill it. So my call to action is like, yes, help out Carmel, but help everybody else that's trying to do something real in EOS.
I love it, man. I love it. I haven't finished with you. I look forward to talking with you again soon and getting a live demo of the app.
Peace, man. Absolutely. Same here.
See you soon.
Ciao.